Just when you thought that Bud Light couldn't dig their hole even deeper, they managed to do it. People from inside their own ranks, distribution agencies that work directly under Bud Light exclusively for Bud Light, have said publicly to the media, as we've previously reported, that all they're waiting for is for the executives at Anheuser-Busch and Bud Light to simply apologize. But the Anheuser-Busch executives still refuse to do the right thing by their customers. They refuse to take that stand, even though they've been dealt so much damage from their own decisions. They just simply can't do it, and they've resorted to these pathetic tactics, like claiming those leading the boycott against their products are, quote, spreading misinformation about their partnership with the TikTok individual that shall not be named. All they had to do was issue an apology, but instead they're playing this middle ground, and they're pleasing nobody. The young leftist activists that they tried so desperately to appeal to want nothing to do with them at this point, and their strategy to regain their old customer base continues to be these pathetic, empty patriotic marketing sticks. We covered the desperate patriotic ad that they released, what was it, maybe 3 weeks or a month ago, and now here's desperate attempt number 2. Let me show you guys what's going on, because the Bud Light boycott continues. We've got some stuff to get into, so let's roll the tape. Alright folks, so take a look at this report from the post-millennial camo print beer bottles. Latest effort by Bud Light to please customers after individual who shall not be named disaster. The redesign is part of Anheuser-Busch's marketing blitz to invest heavily in the brand this spring and summer, so we've covered that recently, and it's been obvious based on what we've been seeing. Anheuser-Busch is desperately spending probably tens of millions of dollars in ad campaigns recently, trying to undo the damage, but it's just so cringe. Frankly, it's just so pathetic. They're now planning a temporary camo print redesign of some Bud Light and Budweiser packaging in an effort to stop a sales slide in the wake of this disastrous partnership with, well, you know who. Well, now they're investing heavily in this new camo package that solves all the problems. There you go. Patriotism, American flags, and camo. You know, it would be one thing if it was an actual genuine effort to promote patriotism, fallen wounded warriors, American service members in general, but it's not. We know exactly what it is. It's a pathetic, desperate, last-ditch effort. I don't actually care. They're simply doing it for the most superficial reasons imaginable. They're doing it because the situation keeps going from a bad to worse, and they simply don't know what to do, scrambling like pathetic little weaklings, expecting people to simply forgive them, to simply forget everything over one pathetic patriotic ad campaign. Absolutely not happening. And speaking of, things is getting real bad for Bud Light. I can't 100% confirm this information, but it comes from a relatively reputable source. Tommy Lahren writes on Twitter, a current Bud Light employee reached out to me to tell me that things are bad and mass layoffs are expected. Production is stalled. They can't give the stuff away. Would be so easy if executives would acknowledge their transgressions and issue a true apology. Apparently things are getting so bad that Anheuser-Busch might be forced to start laying employees off, specifically just with Bud Light. The situation is so bad that supposedly production is stalled. They're not even producing more beer, to which I say good. Hopefully I never have to see another can or bottle of Bud Light ever again, whether it has a camo skin or not. But anyways, that's the little update on Bud Light. We have another interesting story that hit this week. Apparently, Miller Lite saw all the news related to Bud Light, and their immediate thought was hold my beer, literally and figuratively. Here's Miller Lite trying to, I guess, outwoke their competition. Here's a little known fact: women were among the very first to brew beer ever. from Mesopotamia to the Middle Ages to colonial America, women were the ones doing the brewing. Centuries later, how did the industry pay homage to the founding mothers of beer? They put us in bikinis. Well, so today Miller Lite is on a mission to clean up not just there's a whole beer industries. Miller Lite has been scouring the internet through all this and buying it back so that he can turn it into good, cheap for women brewers, literally good. How, you ask? Ladies, take it away first. We turn the badge into compost. Now we've hit compost to worms pushed out. Beautiful fertilizer. That good helps farmers grow quality hops, which has been donated to women brewers to make their own really good. But there's definitely more out there. In your attic, in the garage, and your parents' basement. Send anything you got into Miller Lite and they'll turn that into good too. Oh, so here's to women, because without us, there would be no. You can't think of anything more genius to drive beer sales through the roof than a new ad campaign centered around the idea of men are trash. No better strategy to sell beer than third wave feminism. Absolutely freaking genius, choosing Alana Glazer as their product spokesperson, a brand ambassador. You know this person since we've been watching all this, fake news and whatever, real news, and the president and anticipating coming here tonight. I have been thinking, Stephen, that you are a really model white man. You're a really. I am the picture in the dictionary next to a white man. It'll get much whiter than me. You are the good version of one, because almost our president is almost like the number one white guy that you know in America, because he's the president. But I'm also Stephen Colbertus. You've just been revealing yourself to us over the years in the way I've been watching Strangers with Candy lately, and you've just been revealing yourself in this sincere way. My brain hurts, and the funny thing is that most of the sales that Bud Light was losing, we've been tracking a lot of the loss in Bud Light volume is translated to an increase in Miller Lite sales. Well, I don't know how long that's gonna last. It seems like there's only one company left at this point, one company that isn't doing this day equity nonsense, and it's Yingling. And I have to admit, I've never really given Yingling a fair shot, but ever since these beer boycotts have started, I've been buying the product and I've been pleasantly surprised. It's pretty damn good, and I've done my research. I want to support companies that aren't feeding into the woke day crab. You can't find any evidence of Yingling participating, and I'm learning now that the beer is actually called Yingling or something to that effect. I know it's really important to pronounce things absolutely perfectly at all times on the internet, so my apologies to those that I may have offended, but basically the point that I'm trying to make is that it's important to make good consumer decisions to support companies that you're compatible with in terms of ethics and values. I think this goes beyond cancel culture. It's just an educated consumer decision. My personal belief is that intersectional feminism, these D projects, are inherently discriminatory, and I'd even argue go to the extent of being evil. That's my opinion, and so it's quite simple for me. I'm not going to support companies that are buying into this kind of ideology. It's really that simple. It's not cancel culture. Cancel culture is sending a pitchfork mob at anyone who voices even a slight different opinion or trying to ruin their lives for a joke they may have made like 10 years ago, trying to have people banned and deplatformed. Deperson. That's cancel culture. This, however, is simply a consumer making a decision in what products